Welcome. This is the on-the-record portion of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Gus Cross, and today we have Mayor-elect Bill Fitzgerald. Thanks for talking with us. Would you mind telling us just a little bit about yourself? What kind of got you into politics?
Well, any small town, your local restaurants, people in there talking about politics all the time. So I kept hearing different things, and so I started just going to the meetings. And then I ran for council, which I lost. Then ran for school board, and then eventually got on council, and then ran for mayor.
What kind of prompted you to run for council?
Well, I was on the school board, and your school cannot grow but so much. It can only grow financially with the city. So, so for the school to do more, the city had to do more. So that's when I decided to run for city council.
And when was this?
2 years ago.
So what then now prompted you to run for mayor?
Well, when I ran for, what made me decide to run for mayor is council decided to give our city manager an unlimited contract. Now what that does is bind the hands of your future councils. So we're not allowed to do that. I talked to VML attorneys. They had told me you couldn't. They told city council through our attorney that we could not do it, and they done it anyway. So that's when I decided to run for mayor.
And what is it about the unlimited contract that they wanted to give the city manager that?
You know, I guess it's to get rid of him now, you have to buy his, pay him out, pay him. So before, when you give a 4-year contract, you wait, and at the end of the 4 years, you get an option to renew the contract or you just part ways. And they figured that if you had to buy him out, then nobody would attempt to try to get rid of him. And that's my opinion. So,
would there be a time or reason that you think Buena Vista might need to buy him out?
Well, I really feel now's the time. And the reason is, I think for the city to move forward, we need some changes. I think election, right, how it turned out, the citizens want a big change. And I think that's part of the change.
Do you think that change starts with a new city manager?
Mm-hmm.
Would you plan on working on that starting in the 2018 year?
Well, to get that done, you have to have 4 votes. So we'll just see how it turns out.
Do you know what the city council's opinions on this are?
Mm-mm.
How is the city council dynamic right now? Is it getting ready to have a big change, or?
Well, it is a big change. It's through this election, of course, it's a new mayor. You have two of the other council members didn't run, they stepped down. So we had to have a write-in vote, got 1 seat. And Danny Staten ran for the other one. And then, of course, Melvin Henson won his seat back. And so that leaves my vacancy for council left open.
And is that going to be filled by appointment until a new election?
Yeah, it'll be filled. The process on how you can read our charter multiple different ways. Sometimes the longer you read it, the more you think it goes for this or that. So what I end up doing to make sure the public knows that this is going to be done completely fairly, I got our Commonwealth attorney, he's going to give me his opinion on it, Chris Russell. And then I talked to Ben Klein. Ben Klein told me he would give his opinion on how the charter reads. And then we'll take our council's attorney, and then we have, take the 3 results and then go from there. So,
changing things up a little, the Buena Vista elementary schools have had a rough couple of years recently, and they haven't been accredited since the 2011-2012 year. They got a sort of half accreditation this year for some of the good scores, but they're still not as strong. And I know on the science portion, only 53% of elementary students pass the benchmark test. Are there things in the works with City Council to work on improving those test results in the elementary schools?
well, about the only thing that council can do is try to figure out ways to fund the school more. And the only way the city itself can fund the school is to build up revenue in the city. So fill in our empty buildings and bring some manufacturing in and get some revenue, more revenue coming through the city.
Is that going to be another one of your big items for this upcoming few years, is bringing industry to Buena Vista?
Yes. One thing I've been working on since November 8th is working on different things to make the city more business friendly. Trying to make it more affordable for the small merchants to be able to come in, rent a space, less headache through the process to open up a business. With some of the fees and all, sign fees and all the other fees that we had, by the time a small business would come in and take care of what they need to do with the city, by the time they just walk in our building, they done spend half of their budget. And we need to lighten the load there to try to bring in more business.
Tell me about the Vista Links golf course. What is being worked on with that, and how do you see that going down the road?
Well, right now it's going through a legal process. I hope that it can be settled within a few months. Really, that's about all I know on it right now. So I'm hoping at the first of the year I'll be informed, even more on it.
There's been some talk about maybe possible infrastructure improvements in Buena Vista. Is that another kind of one of your major points you want to work towards, or are there other things that you hope to work towards?
Well, infrastructure is very important, and our infrastructure is very, very poor. And it's like any other community. Most communities are like that. So if, I would love to get our infrastructure improved, but that comes into building up a revenue within the city. And that also comes about where we need to settle this golf course debt, because as long as we got this debt hanging over us, we are not going to be able to move forward. We just creeping by right now, and until that debt's gone, then it'll speed up. And once it's gone, we can get more help from the state. And so the golf course, that debt's got to be, we got to get that over.
Sir, how has the kind of theme or kind of feeling in Buena Vista been post-election season with all of the changes?
Yeah, people seem really upbeat about it. I have had so much support since this election. My calls started that night at 8 o'clock, the night of the election, until 11 o'clock. And then it started up again the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning, ran to 8 o'clock at night. And it was so many calls. I was on the phone for so much that it wasn't an opening to catch all the calls. So it took me almost another whole week before I got to return everybody's call.
Yes, sir. And you won by such a large victory. Was that a shock to you?
That was. When the election was over, and I do this at every election I've been in, I go home, go to bed. I don't wait for the results. I can read it in the paper tomorrow. I'm patient. So both the time I went to doze off, my phone rang, and people started calling me, let me know I won. And then my son got on his phone to find out the result. You know, I asked him, because I want to see what I won by. And when he told me, I told him, I said, that's got to be a mistake. And so then a little bit later, come across the television at the bottom of the screen, you know, that I had won. And it really surprised me. I felt comfortable the whole time of the election. You know, ever since, from day one of deciding to run, I felt really comfortable. But it really surprised me, the amount of votes I got.
Well, I'm sure you're going to do a great job, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Well, thank you
for speaking with us. I'm Gus Cross, and this has been the On the Record portion of the Rockbridge Report.